This video, we're gonna talk about Ohm's law in a series circuit. We're gonna start with the 220 volts of battery. Okay, so the large side is the positive terminal of the battery, and the small side will be the negative terminal of the battery. Okay, we have 25 ohms resistor, 10 ohms resistor, and 20 ohms resistor. In a series circuit, remember that the current flows from negative, okay, from negative all the way through this resistor, and this resistor to the positive terminal. Okay, this is the voltage source or the electrical pressure, which is 220 volts, and these are the three resisting or resistors that resist the flow of electrical pressure of the circuit. So currents, which is the flow of electrons, has to flow with this resistance, and this resistance. And to overcome that, we need to add this resistance together to get our total circuit resistance, which is 55 ohms. Okay, so we get this 55 ohms by adding 25 plus 10 is equals to 35, and 35 plus 20 is equals to 55. Okay, that means that this entire circuit has a total resistance of 55 ohms. Now we can see that we have a 220 volts and 55 ohms. So now we can determine the current using Ohm's law. Now Ohm's law tells us that resistance is directly proportional to voltage and inversely proportional to the current. So this is the basic Ohm's law formula. Now we can transform this formula R is equals to V over I, as we have studied in our lesson, to V is equals to I times R. So the voltage to this current is equal to the current times the resistance. Okay, so we're gonna keep this formula because we're gonna use it later on. But right now, what we are trying to do is to figure out what the current is in this entire circuit. Okay, so we are looking for the current of this entire circuit. So in order to figure that out, we're gonna use the total circuit voltage. Okay, we're gonna use this total circuit voltage and the total circuit resistance. So we're gonna take this formula. V is equals to I times R and transform it to something else. So we have I is equals to V over the resistance. Okay? So pag hindi po alam kung paano po mag-transform, search for another video that tutor or that tells us how to transform the formula. Okay? So here we now know that V is equals to 220 volts, and R or the resistance is equals to the 55 volts. Okay, so 220 volts divided by 55 ohms is equals to 4 amperes. Okay, so we already figure out what is current in a circuit using Ohm's law. In here, we now know what is the current is at all points in this circuit. Okay, so in this circuit or in this resistor, the current is 4 amperes. Here we have also 4 amperes, and here we have also 4 amperes. Okay, so in order to find out what will be the voltage in each resistor, so we already get the current of each resistor. Now we are going to figure out what is the voltage in each resistor. So all we have to do is get the 4 amperes and use the formula this one. Voltage is equals to the resistance or the current times the resistance. Okay, so 4 times 25 is equals to 110 volts. 4 times 10 is equals to 40 volts, and 4 times 20 is equals to 80 volts. Okay, and there's a way to double check this. Okay, so we know that if we have a total circuit voltage of 220 volt, we just have to get the sum of these three voltage that we have. So we have to get the sum of these three voltage that we have, and it has to be equal to 220 volts. Okay, so 100 plus 40 is equals to 140, and 140 plus 80 is equals to 220 volts. Okay, so that's it. We already get the current, the resistance, the current, and the voltage of each resistors. So that is Ohm's law with regards to a series circuit.